bitch faggots. What's going on? It's Jason Van Jason for Bitch Faggot Radio. How's it going? How's everyone feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. It's Friday night. You're sitting here in my car, relaxing. Typically I'd be in my house, but I can't fucking yell and scream in my house. So fucking I'm here in an empty parking lot. You might hear the LRT go by, you might hear some other stupid shit, whatever. I don't fucking care. All right, let's get the particulars out of the way. This is show number 4. And if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at Jason Van Jason. If you would like to follow me on Facebook, you can make a Twitter and follow me at Jason Van Jason. If you would like to find my blog, you can go to my Amazon Author Central page where you can find links to my blog as well as purchases to make, because I know you want to make some purchases. You can do so at my Amazon Author Central page. Amazon Author Central page in Google, Jason Van Jason. Add that shit. And if you happen to see anyone else with the name Jason Van, and whether their name is Jason Van whatever, doesn't matter. If they're using the name Jason Van, they're fucking an imposter. Alright? They're not the real shit. They're fucking homos. Homo dick suckers, as we like to call those people. So you make sure and give those people some traffic, and you make sure and let them know that Jason Van Jason says that Jason Van whoever is a fucking homo dick sucker. And that's what it is. And that's what the real fans do. And I don't really have any fans. I don't really have any real fans. But if you're a real fan and you want to be a real fan, that's the only requirement. You gotta tell those Jason Van people that they're fucking dick suckers. It is what it is. Alright, bitch faggots. So, the first episode, we talked about guilt. The second episode, we talked about help. The third episode, we talked about enabling. I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about today. I'm just kind of riffing it out. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what topics we get to today. But as you can tell, I'm feeling pretty good. I had a pretty good day today. I was out at the gym working out in the morning, getting the pool in, and then I was writing all fucking day. Because I got my weekend shift coming up this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. Get to go out and make some fucking money. Speaking of money, I didn't get paid today. Cocksuckers. I think I'm getting paid Monday or tonight. I don't fucking know when. I had some shit that I wanted to get done, but unfortunately I was stuck writing. And that's okay. You know, you keep to the schedule of doing what you like to do, and it is what it is. And I enjoy it, so fuck it. Why not, right? I had the opportunity to work a cash job today, but I kind of passed it up. I was on a good roll with the writing. Sometimes I can find it hard to get into a good groove, but today I sat down, and after about an hour and a half of falling, almost fucking letting my head hit the desk I was sitting at the library, I decided to go have a coffee at McDonald's. So I went over there, and I had an interesting experience as I was leaving. And I'll get to that in a minute, but, you know, I'm sitting at the McDonald's, and I'm kind of riffing a good little bit of writing out, and seeing some people, and seeing all the regulars, and this lady walks in with her husband, and this woman, I don't know what it was about her, but she looked like a dude, but she wasn't a dude, and she was hot for some reason. I don't understand. I don't get it. I was looking for an Adam's apple on her. I didn't see one. She didn't have man hands, but just her face was very, very manly. And yeah, she was hot as fuck. And she was like this, it looked like she was about 45, and she was sitting there with her husband, and she kept looking at me. And Kept looking at her phone. I'm sure she was on Twitter or Tinder, looking for me on Tinder. But I ain't about that shit. I ain't about fucking using those apps. I'm about real life interactions. You know, maybe I should install Tinder. I don't fucking know. You know what? I'm fucking done with internet dating. I met those fucking 30 women and I fucking was not very fucking impressed at all. Holy fuck was I unimpressed with that. But, oh man, this lady, she wanted some Jason Dick in her mouth for fucking sure. No doubt about it. And it was funny, she had this curly hair and she had like flawless skin. I don't know what the fuck it was about her, but she looked like a dude. And yes, she was hot. It was the weirdest fucking thing ever. Maybe I'm becoming a homo dick sucker, I don't know. But, you know, if I use the word homo dick sucker, I'm only using it to describe these Jason Van folk. I'm really not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who's scared of gay people, homophobic. I'm really not homophobic. I'm really not. I just enjoy, I enjoy using that slang. I enjoy using, bitch, faggot. I enjoy using faggot. I enjoy using bitch. And you know what? I just enjoy doing my own thing. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just riffing this out, doing my own thing. So if that's bugging you, then fuck off, okay? Just fuck right off. Go listen to someone else and we'll both just be happy, alright? Anyway, so I'm walking out and this fucking bum-ass native dude, and you know, we talked about native people, we understand why they're bums. They're bums because most of them have been emotionally abused. Most of them have been through the fucking ringer and a half, and so this guy walks up and he's fucking dirty as fuck. And honestly, the way he was walking up to me when I had my car door open, I figured for sure this guy was gonna pull out a knife and try and like carjack me or something, and that would have been his mistake, but luckily he didn't do that. He fucking just walks up to me and goes, "Hey bro," and then the thing was this, before I get into it, this McDonald's was inside a Walmart, so he walked from the strip mall opposite of the Walmart, so it was very obvious that he didn't come from inside the Walmart, but he came in anyways, or he walks over to the Walmart parking lot, and I can see that he hasn't been inside Walmart yet, because he's coming from the opposite side of the parking lot, obviously, and so I'm in the middle of the parking lot, he's coming from the far side, and he walks up to me and goes, "Hey bro, I think inside we switched shoes by accident," and I look, and we got similar shoes, but his are dirty as fuck, and mine are a little bit dirty too, but these are my outside running shoes, it is what it is. I bought them about 2 weeks ago, and they're already fucking dirty. I hate that shit, but they're also lime green, so yeah, that was a stupid fucking purchase. But, they're $35. What can I say? Champions, they're nice and light, you know what it is. Anyway, so, sorry, I just accidentally hit my headlights. So this guy walks up to me and he basically is trying to take my shoes. He's basically trying to switch fucking shoes with me, and I couldn't believe it. I was just standing there for a minute. I was just like, "Buddy, see you later." Like, and then I hopped in, and then he kind of did like "Sorry, man, I'm just bugging you. How's it going, bro?" And we started riffing it out for a minute, and he asked me for change, and I said, and to pause the story for a minute, you remember how I talked about last time about how if someone asked me for change, and I go, "Hey, man, you got any change for me though?" And most people just tell me to fuck off. And so, I'm ready to tell these people to fuck off, right? And so this guy asked me for change, and I go, "Nah, dog, I don't got nothing for you." And he goes, "All right, well, I got $1. Like, are you sure you don't got any change?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't got any change for you, bro." Then he goes, "Okay, well, I have $1. Did you want it?" And he literally asked me if I wanted $1. And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take your $1." So he puts the $1 in my hand. And I couldn't fucking believe it. And I closed the door and everything. And I was getting ready to leave. And I like turned it on and started driving off. And he just walked off. And so I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way did this dude just do that. So I fucking stopped, opened up the door. I'm just like, "Hey, man, come here." I fucking gave him back his $1, gave him $5. I was just like, man, that was fucking... Like that was a prolific fucking thing to happen, considering what I was just talking about the day before, where I've never, like I've never experienced that with a homeless person before, where, like I was talking about, he gives me change. Like I just mentioned that the other day, and I was like, I'll never fucking see that ever in my life. Then the next fucking day, this guy just comes and blows me away with that. I was just totally fucking taken aback by it. And I also gave him my McCafe sticker coupon thing. I had 7 stickers on it so he could go in and get a free coffee. But I was just totally blown away by that. And more blown away by the fact that I was talking about it the day before on the show. There's a record of it on the show, and then he just fucking does that the next day. I just couldn't believe it. I was just totally fucking blown away by that. Just the coincidence of it, the fact that it even happened to begin with. I was just moved by it. I don't even know what to say still. I'm just like, holy fuck, like, did that just happen? I was just, I don't even know what to say, and so, I don't know. That was a crazy thing. And that's the type of shit that I deal with on a daily basis, is these coincidences like that just draw you in. Like that coincidence that just draws your thought processes into that one event. Like, how the fuck did that happen? What are the chances that I'm talking about that and the next day Buddy just does that? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Sorry, I'm sniffing in the microphone, but I don't understand it. I have no fucking, I don't know. And maybe I'm not meant to understand it, but I'm just glad I had that experience. I'm glad that somebody came along and kind of reinvigorated my faith in fucking bums. I don't know what else to say. It was just, that was just crazy. And those type of coincidences for me, I don't know why, but they happen to me like every fucking day. Every fucking day I'll have a coincidence like that happen to me. Where I'll be talking about something the day before and then the next day it fucking happens. That happens a lot. Like all the time. And I don't understand why. Maybe that happens for you guys too. And so I'm gonna leave the first listener question today. Tell me about a coincidence that happened to you. 'Cause I don't know, like, are coincidences a regular thing like that for you? Because they're a very regular thing for me, and every time it just blows me away, and I find myself being blown away daily here by some of the coincidences that are happening, and just, I don't know. I wish I could get into them more, but I can't really make a backlog of them all. I should have been writing them down so I could at least talk about them and have a reference point to talk about them, but unfortunately I didn't do that. Anyways, yeah, that was something else. And so after that, I went to Tim Hortons, and I continued this writing role I was on. And and to be honest, when that happened, I was like drained. I had just finished writing for like 2 hours, and I was just gonna go for a nap, back to my house and go for a nap, and it just reinvigorated me back into a writing mood. And I was just like, fuck, I gotta go write again after that. So I just went and I wrote for another 3 hours. And, yeah, so I got like, that guy helped me immensely. He, I don't know. That was a well-spent $5, let me put it that way. To get 3 hours of writing in and 3 hours of productive writing, to just sit there and drink coffee and riff. And it was good. It was really good. And, yeah, so after that 3 hours, went home, had a nap, and then I was like, well, I should probably do this. And I was going to do it there, but I live in an apartment. I shouldn't say it's a house, it's an apartment, but I didn't want to keep up my neighbors. It is about 9:30 right now, so I just came to the parking lot here, and yeah, so like I said, been an interesting day. And I guess we've talked about, we've talked about guilt and help and enabling. And today, I guess from that coincidental experience that happened, I guess we need to talk about valid times when you can help someone, and experiences when you should help someone. And valid help can look like a lot of different things. A lot of valid help has nothing to do with money. That's number one. If a person can't appreciate help outside of money, chances are you're not helping them by giving them money. So understand that help is not just a financial thing at all. Help is about knowledge. Help is about an assortment of things in life. Help is about time. Help is about effort. Help is about ourselves, each other. Help is about, we go back to Mrs. P. Help is about fucking food. Help is about a feeling. Help is about striving for something that you don't normally have. Help is about being a volunteer. Help is about giving, and help is about taking too. But help is not just financial. Not at all. And more times than not, we don't even need to help financially. A lot of people undervalue the value of spending your time volunteering. I do a lot of volunteering myself, and my elbow grease in other people's business goes a long way. Whether it just be at the church cleaning chairs after a lunch, or cleaning tables, or sweeping a floor, or giving somebody a ride somewhere, which I try not to do. I try not to give people rides. But and you shouldn't either. Don't give people rides. Giving someone a ride is almost always enabling. I find very, very rarely is giving somebody a ride not enabling. And as far as I'm concerned, somebody else can enable them. I'm not a part of that shit. But and I've just had so many experiences of somebody might actually need a ride too, but the thing is, you need to understand, and this is an important thing to know with help, is where that help is going to lead your interactions with that person in the future. Because if someone might actually legitimately need help, but if you helping them is going to result in them asking you for help every fucking day, don't help them. Because that's not help anymore. And if you need to say no to that person all the time, they're going to start taking offense to that. And so the best thing you can do is to just fucking not help them at all. And that's another important thing about help, is setting a limit. And setting a limit is something we haven't talked about very much yet. And we're going to get into it right now. Setting limits is something that parents do with their children in order... So basically, let's say Johnny stays out an hour past curfew. And instead of... Or actually, let's say even before Johnny comes home, let's say before Johnny leaves, and I'm Johnny's dad, I tell Johnny, your curfew is 6 p.m., okay? So if you're back past 6 p.m., Johnny, there is going to be a consequence. A logical consequence. And a logical consequence in context to limits is important. For example... this is just an example, so we're putting the Johnny situation on pause. This is just an example. If I ride my bike and I abuse riding my bike, a consequence to abusing riding my bike has to be in terms of the bike. It can't be, if I don't ride my bike well, then I can't play video games for the rest of the day. That doesn't make any sense. Do you see the disconnect in logic there? That's why we call it a logical consequence, because it has to be in line with the thing that they abused. So if I don't ride my bike well, a logical consequence would be I lose bike privileges. I don't get to use my bike anymore. Right? But to make a consequence, oh, you didn't ride your bike well, so now you don't get to play video games. That doesn't make sense. That's not a logical consequence. And ultimately, that's not going to stop me from abusing my bike. Right? It's not. But putting a logical consequence on the bike is going to stop me from abusing the bike, and it's going to make me use that bike properly, or else I'm just not going to use it. And if I'm not going to use it, then there's no chance for me to abuse that bike again. Right? Because, like, the thing is that if now I lose video game privileges, but I'm still riding the bike, then if I abuse riding the bike again, then you have to implement another illogical consequence. So now I lose video game privileges, and let's just say, for example, I lose my toy privileges. You take away my toys. Well, then I'm on my bike again, and then I abuse it again. So then you have to do a third illogical consequence. So now I can't wear my favorite shoes. Now I have to wear my dirty sneakers. And then I'm riding my bike again, and again I abuse the bike. So now we're on a fourth illogical consequence, and I'm not learning nothing because I still have an opportunity to abuse the bike. Do you understand what I'm saying? The logical consequence should stop me from abusing whatever that consequence is revolving around. So if little Johnny breaks his curfew, a logical consequence would be, okay, Johnny, you're grounded, and you're not going to have the opportunity to follow a curfew now. And so now you're not leaving the house. Now you're going to sit in your room, or you're just going to stay home. You're not going to go out. And hopefully this way, little Johnny, you will learn in the future to follow the limit. And the limit is 6 p.m. And if you're back at 6:30, then I have to implement that consequence again. And maybe even make that consequence worse, because obviously it didn't work the first time. Now, when we talk about consequence, we also have to talk about punishment. And we've talked a lot about emotional abuse. We've talked a lot about, Native people getting abused in residential schools. And we have to understand that in residential schools, they did not use logical consequence, and they did not use consequence. They used punishment. And that's why those Native people are so abused, because they used punishment. If you did something wrong, they just beat the shit out of you. They didn't like... if I didn't do my math correctly, they just whacked me in the hand. They didn't say, okay, consequence is you need to learn how to do math. Consequence is I'm going to beat the shit out of you, and then you're going to learn math that way. But that doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, if I'm not learning math any better through that consequence, then you're just, the punishment is just going to keep adding up. There's going to be no recourse for me other than to continue to be punished. And that's exactly what happened. These people didn't have a chance to learn whatever they were, whatever limit they broke, and whatever limit they went past, and whatever consequence was enacted, that was not a consequence, it was a punishment. And because the punishment was not a consequence, and because that consequence was not logical, just as I'm abusing the bike again and again and again, that illogical consequence is enacted, and an illogical punishment is 10 times worse. And so, yeah, setting limits around help is important. So if you're going to help someone, you set a limit of, hey, just so you know, I'm not going to help you again. I'm helping you one time only. That's it. And if you come to me for help again, I'm going to say no. And then that way, when the person does come to you, they can't really get mad because they already know what you're going to say. And if they do get mad, then fuck them and don't talk to them, because they're very aware. And at that point, they're just trying to intimidate you. And you can't let that shit fly. Not at all. Someone who's trying to intimidate you into giving them help doesn't respect you. Do you understand? That's enabling. We already talked about enabling, but if you help someone, there should be respect given back. If someone's trying to intimidate you into helping them, that's not respect, that's enabling, right? We've covered this. And if you missed that part, go listen to it, fuckhead. Don't just fucking jump in on number 4 like you fucking know what the fuck I'm talking about, because you fucking don't, you fucking shithead. Go fucking listen to the rest. You fucking bitch faggot. And, yeah, so if we're ever going to help someone and we are going to give valid help, we always have to attach a limit to that help. And we have to say, I'm going to help you this much and this much only. I'm not going to help you any more than right here. This is where the help ends. And you need to identify where the help ends and why. You need to make that a logical thing for them. And you need to say, I'm not going to help you any more than here, because then I'm going to be helping you too much, and then you're going to defer your life onto me, and that's not okay. You need to be in control of your life. You're an adult. You know, for example, Mrs. P at the food bank. She's asking me for a ride. And I gave her a ride one time, but you know what I didn't do? I didn't fucking set a limit on giving. I didn't say this is a one-time only deal. I can only give you a ride one time, and the reason why is because I don't want you asking me for a ride every day. You know, I didn't say that to her, and so now guess what she's doing? She's asking me for a ride every time we're there, and she's getting pissed off when I say no, because I've already given her a ride and I already didn't set a limit on it. So now she can think whatever she wants to think about that, and she can put whatever expectation she wants on that. I need to define the expectation around the help that I'm going to give. That's absolutely crucial. And if you're not going to do that, then don't help. And if you're not comfortable with doing that, then you're not ready to help anyone, because you can't even help yourself. And that's number 2. So, you know, Mrs. P, to bring it back to Mrs. P again at the food bank, she's in a position in life where she should not really be volunteering her time. You know, she's not in a place of comfort. She's in a place of survival. And the reason she wants to run that branch of the food bank is so she can help herself survive. Not help other people. She's trying to help herself. And we gotta really make ourselves a priority. And when we're not making ourselves a priority in the ways that we can help ourselves, and we're just taking what's easy, that's not good. We need to set a limit on that. We need to, you know, limits are important. Limits should be everywhere. Limits are law. Limits really are law. And that's how important they are. We need laws. We need limits. We need social limits especially. But a lot of people don't put down those social limits. And as a result, conflict brews. And people who engage in conflict over a not set limit usually have very, very poor conflict resolution skills. Typically, they're entering in that conflict for a reason. We don't just create conflict for no reason. We're looking to gain something through that conflict all the time. And that's what you need to understand about number 3. If you help someone and you don't set that limit, they are going to create a conflict with you to try and get that help back. They're going to try and storm the beaches in Normandy. They're going to take some casualties, but they don't give a fuck because they want that help. So you need to set the limit. Setting the limit is so important. And the reason I'm talking, and the reason I'm going beyond setting the limit is because I know for a fucking fact that you have people in your life that you're helping where you haven't set the limit. And now you're having to deal with the fallout of not setting that limit. And that fallout is conflict. And that's probably like one of your kids if you have kids. That's probably one of your friends. That's probably this or that. And you know what? At the end of the day, we can't really blame those people because we didn't set a limit. We got to blame ourselves and say, look, I didn't set a limit. That's my fault. And we even got to say that to those people. We got to be real mature about it. We got to look at them and say, you know what? I didn't set a limit on what I'm comfortable doing with you, so I'm going to do that now. And like Mrs. P, for example, I'm going to have to set a limit with her. I'm going to have to say, hey, look, this is what I'm comfortable with in terms of giving you a ride. If I'm going to show up with my vehicle, I'll give you a ride. If not, I'm not. And that's what I need to do. But allowing that conflict to brew and allowing those negative feelings to brew is not the greatest idea. That's not conducive of building healthy relationships. Limits are very, very important when it comes to building healthy relationships, and help ultimately becomes a back and forth thing in healthy relationships. It really does. You don't just give help, you take help. Help goes back and forth, and that's an important thing. If you're helping someone, you need to give them the opportunity to help you. All too often, we help people and don't expect anything in return. And that's nonsense. We need to give these people the opportunity to help us. And the reason they do that is because, think about it this way. If we're helping someone, we're doing that to feel good. So why wouldn't we want that other person to feel good about themselves the way we feel good about ourselves when we help somebody? It's selfish. It's selfish to just help someone and then say, oh no, I don't need help. Oh no, I don't need help. No, I don't need help. That's selfish. You need to spread that feeling of thank you for helping. Now here's something you can help me with. And if you're afraid to ask, then fuck off, because you shouldn't be helping. The help is going back and forth. And if it's not going back and forth, if you're not accepting help, it's because you're selfish. Do not be selfish. Allow that person to help you. Create an opportunity for that person to help you. And see if they're willing to help you. And if they're not, don't ever fucking talk to that person again. Or if they have a valid reason, create another scenario for that person to help you. But always manage the back and forth. Always allow the back and forth to happen. All too often, people just give help without ever receiving it. And that's unacceptable. That's selfish. As I said, you need to be creating these scenarios where you can go back and forth with someone. And going back and forth with someone is how you build a relationship. And people have forgot about that. People don't know how to build anymore. And that's help. Going back and forth is how you build with someone. And when you're not accepting help from that person, and you're just giving help, and then you wonder why that person isn't close to you, and you wonder why that person, you can't break through their comfort zone and their wall, that's fucking why. Is because you have your own selfish wall up and you don't even know it. Allow that person in. If you're giving them help, but you're not willing to receive help, then you're not really helping them. Do you understand? You're just giving them shit. So back and forth is important. That feeling, giving them that feeling of fulfillment from helping you is so important. It's critical. It's along the same lines as setting limits. You need to have the back and forth, and you need to set a limit on the back and forth. That's an important part of valid helping. Whew, that was quite the rant. And it's true, though. That is so true. Fucking take notes, asshole. Take notes, bitch faggot. I'm fucking on a roll tonight. I can already feel it. I'm on fucking fire. Woo! Alright. So, next, you've allowed that person to help you now, and you've set a limit on that help. Now we need to put a direction into that help, and we need to get a routine going. And that's important, too. And a routine can look like anything when it comes to help. Routine can look like just going bowling, just playing pool, just doing this or that. That's what help can lead to. And you need to allow those things to happen. This back and forth needs to evolve into something. That's another important part of building the relationships, is taking the risks and understanding that there's a direction to help. Help is leading somewhere, and you need to set the pace on where that's leading. So do an activity with that person. Make that help turn into a social event, even if it's just coffee. Coffee's great. Go meet them for coffee. Have a coffee together. Chat about your life. See what's going on in theirs. Find a way to set new limits, and that's an important thing. When you're setting new limits, you're getting new activities too. You're always setting limits so that you can put new activities down and feel comfortable with those new activities. You know, setting those limits constantly is important so that you can cover new ground. You're constantly going to be setting limits. Setting limits is not just a one-time deal. That's why I'm talking about it so much. It's so important to continually set limits so that you can continue to build with this person rather than being reserved, rather than saying, oh, fuck, is me doing this for this person just going to fucking result in another fucking of this person asking me for shit every day? Set the limit constantly. Even around the activity, set the limit. Set the limit so that you feel comfortable gaining ground with this person. Setting limits is so important. I can't say it enough. Set limits. Do it. And you know what? If that person doesn't follow the limits, then enact a consequence. And that consequence should be, fuck you, see you later. That's a good consequence. If a consequence is, fuck you, see you later. I'm taking you out of my phone or whatever. Oh, that was a nasty fart. Oh no, it stinks too, shit. And it's raining outside, I can't even open the window. Got a fucking Dutch oven going in this bitch, and I'm on fire! Woo! Alright. Yeah, set those limits. Set the fucking limits, it's important. Alright. What's next? So now you're in the direction of planning from a back and forth scenario where you're helping someone into some sort of activity. And now this is beginning to look like a friendship. This has all the makings of a friendship, but something's missing. You have your limits and you continually set your limits, but something is missing that's not making this a friendship. And it's commitment. And this is one of the biggest ones. Is you have to commit to not only the activity, but your limits. If somebody fucks with your limit, they're going to fuck with all your other limits too. And we're going to talk about this quickly. This idea of credibility. You need credibility in order to set successful limits. That means following through on every limit you set. If you set a limit and don't follow through, why would they respect any other limit you set? And as we already said, friendship is all about setting limits, especially new friendships. They're all about setting limits. You're going to be setting limits every day. So you got to have some credibility behind that. And ways we can establish credibility are following through on limits and consequences, on logical consequences. It's super important. Establishing, without credibility, you might as well not be setting limits because they're not going to follow them. So, credibility is just as important as setting limits. And understanding what builds credibility is also super important. And I don't know how you can build credibility with that person. That's too contextual. That's something you need to figure out. I can't tell you how to build credibility. But you need to figure that out, and you need to have that credibility. And if that person isn't giving you that credibility, then you can't fuck with that person. You need to write that person off. People need to allow you to have credibility. And you need to allow scenarios to happen where you can establish it. Because like I said, if you don't have credibility, you might as well not be setting those limits, and those limits are fucking important. Okay, so just as setting limits are important, credibility is also important. In my line of work, in working with people who have mental disabilities, credibility and setting limits is like the most basic shit ever. It's like super important though. It's like I look at this, I look at building skills as a game of Jenga. You need to have a good solid base in order to build upwards. And sometimes in order to build up more and more without getting that teeter-tottering of the top going, the back and forth sway, you need to build up your base more. Setting limits in terms of building relationships is your base. Setting limits and credibility and establishing credibility and maintaining credibility is your base in order to build upwards on relationships and communication and everything. That's like air. That's like when it comes to breathing, that's like fucking having air. All right? It's super important. I know I've said that a lot. I can't say it enough. You need to have that. Whew. And from there, you're golden. From there, you have a new friend. Seriously. And it's great. And it's fantastic to have someone in your life where you're able to do that with. And once you get multiple people, you can start building networks. And once you have networks, you reach a really strange place where you have two of these people that you've set limits with now in the same room as you, interacting with each other. And this is where leadership comes in. Because this is such a strange thing, but you can set limits between yourself and somebody else, but you can't set limits between two other people. You can't be like a third-party negotiator between two people. You can't do that. And so this is a very advanced place to be in terms of building relationships. When you have to make someone set a limit. When you have to make someone set a limit in terms of someone else, that's tough. And that's a place most people would rather not be in. And that's a very advanced. Even in my book, Communication in Action, I don't really, or my book, I guess my chapter on it, I don't really cover it that much because it's just so advanced and there's so many things that can go wrong. And, convincing someone to set a limit between them and someone else who's not you, or do you understand what I mean? Having two separate people now and watching them interact and watching them not set limits with each other, there's going to be conflict arising, and you're going to have to learn to manage that conflict too, because they're not always going to set the limits. People are not always going to be as good as you and me on setting limits. Not at all. Most of the time, you're going to need to tell them the same thing I'm telling you right fucking now. And they're going to need to probably listen to this in order to get it through their thick fucking skulls. And even then, they might listen to this and go, this guy's a fucking idiot. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy, I've been doing this for over 20 fucking years and I'm like fucking 27. Shut the fuck up. Okay? You fucking bitch faggot. I've been doing this a long time, okay? I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't think I don't. Here's the thing. Right now, by me saying that, I'm trying to establish credibility with you, the listener. That right there was me trying to establish credibility with you. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? That was me trying to establish credibility with you. Did I? I don't know if I did or not. It was an attempt, though, and that's all we can do. We can just attempt to set up some credibility. And that's it. That's all we can do. And sometimes we got to attempt again and again and again and again and again, and most of the time it fails. But some of the time we get some of that credibility to stick. But imagine if I now say that 20 times. If I now say, oh, I've been doing this all my life. Oh, I've been doing this all my life. Oh, I've been doing it. Every time I say that, if I have built credibility, I lose a little bit. And that's because of insecurity. If I keep saying that, then it becomes evident that I don't really believe that, and I'm trying to convince myself of that. Do you understand what I mean? So insecurity and credibility kind of go hand in hand. You can't just build credibility using the same method over and over and over and over. You can't do that. That's where insecurity finds holes in your game, and that's where the water starts leaking out, and the water is the credibility. The credibility starts leaking out those holes, and then you find yourself losing credibility, and you can't maintain credibility. That's important. That's important as fuck. Notice how I haven't tried to establish credibility with you again? That's because I've just put it out there, and you're either going to accept it or you're not. And that's okay with me. I'm not totally invested in our relationship. And to be honest, I don't fucking care. As the listener, if you are believing my credibility or not, I don't give a shit. Okay? And you can't really give a shit either. All you can do is just tell the truth. That's it. And honesty is a big policy when it comes to maintaining credibility. If you're caught in a lie, you usually lose all credibility that you would have for anything at all. That's the thing about, so we have logical consequence, right? But when you're caught in a lie, you illogically lose every sense of credibility you have. Even if that has nothing to do, even if that means I'm good at darts. I can constantly hit the bullseye in darts. When you catch me lying, my ability to hit the bullseye with the darts, it seems lackluster now. You know, you lose respect for me. Do you understand what I mean? No longer do you look at me and say, "Man, that guy can hit every bullseye with that dart." You say, "You know, that guy lied to me." I lost credibility. So tell the truth at all times, and know that when you're not telling the truth, the credibility you have with that person is on the line. Any credibility at all. Illogically, you lose credibility. And you cannot illogically gain credibility like that. And that's why it's so hard to maintain credibility. So, yeah, you can lose credibility very easily. And it's tough. It's super tough. Be smart. Don't just make moves. Play chess. You know? And if you don't understand the game of chess, don't fucking play. Don't sit there and say you know the game of chess, because you're going to get fucking worked. You are. Stupid people are going to drag you down to their stupid level and beat you down with experience. That's the truth. You can't play stupid with stupid people. They'll beat you with experience. You got to play smart at all times. What are we at here? Whew, 47 minutes. That went by quick. Holy fuck. Alrighty. Well, that's going to be today's show. That's what it's all about, is valid help. Okay? We've talked about guilt. We've talked about help. We've talked about enabling. This has been about actual help. Take fucking notes. You might have to listen to this again in order to really get those concepts down. That's okay. Just make sure that you're doing everything that I've said, and make sure that you're doing more research too, because like I said, the stuff that I've talked about here, other than getting other people to set limits and shit, right? Other than that, this stuff is basic. This stuff is the bottom of this stuff is the base for your Jenga tower when it comes to building skills. All right, you need that good solid base in order to build higher. Or else things start getting wavy and pretty soon it's going to topple over. Alright? And you know what? People are going to pull blocks out of your skill tower. People are going to say, hey, what's this? And pull it out. And they're going to pull your shit right from under you. You need a good solid base. You do. In everything you do, you need a good solid base. Take time to develop that base. Take time to listen to the people who know more than you do. Just as I have to sit here and tell you about it. You think I've just learned this shit from life? Fuck no. I've learned from watching. I've learned from listening. I've learned from touching. I've learned from feeling. I've learned from all my senses. I've learned. Alright? Anyways, if you need to follow me on Twitter, maybe ask me a question. My Twitter will be @JasonVanJason. I think I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I was thinking about using another platform, but I think YouTube's going to be the best for me anyways. So, yeah, my account will probably be Jason Van Jason on YouTube, so you can check that out. My channel, I mean, not my account. That's how much I know about YouTube. If you need to find my blog, go to my Amazon Author Central page, which is called Jason Van Jason, and you can look for products there you can purchase on that page, or there's these little windows where it'll show my most recent blogs, and you can read those. I got a little fantasy story going on. I got some poetry on there. I think I got like 70 blogs of poetry you can go through, and they aren't as good as my stuff I'm selling, obviously, but they're okay. And yeah. So anyways, I love you all. May God bless your life. May the devil touch your life. May you find some balance. May you set a limit on that balance and follow it. And if you don't follow it, then may the universe hand you the consequence that is most fitting. And if that means death, then good luck to you. Anyways, my name is Jason Van Jason for Bitch Faggot Radio. Thanks for listening. Take care. Good luck with all your future endeavors. And, yeah, thanks for listening. And hopefully you can put some of that information to use. Set fucking limits, bitch. Don't fucking forget, you bitch faggot. Do it. Don't fuck around. Alright? Love you. Bye-bye.